Hello everybody, welcome back to the Maverick channel. Now the first thing I have to say, my lighting is not good because as soon as I started the video my light decides to shut out. So I'm using the wall lights, the ceiling lights, my bad. So but let's try and continue, because if you can listen to my voice, I think that's the most important thing. Now without further ado, let us continue. But first, I have to call to action, guys. Remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It's really helpful for the YouTube channel. It's helpful for the algorithms, and also check out all my old videos to get some more insights on the trend that we've been kind of following, to see where things are going in terms of following up VC money and where it's going, looking at the whole crypto space. In terms of where it's going, in terms of scalability, interoperability, different technologies that are being employed, and why certain things are happening certain ways, smart contracts and things like autonomous economic agents, multi-agent systems, decentralized autonomous economic agents, a combination of all these sort of buzzwords to form something in the future. First of all, I have this philosophy that cryptocurrency, what you're seeing here is DYDX. Let me just change this. I don't want to talk for a while and it's the same thing over. So the thing is, cryptocurrencies aren't going to go anywhere significantly until we have interoperability. So what I mean, we have metaverses like Decentraland, Sandbox, CryptoVoxes, being able to intertravel within these different metaverses. That has to happen. So equally, we also have to have that flexibility when it comes to transferring tokens. You need to have that true interoperability. Now, I haven't messed around with Polkadot that much. I know they have these relay chains and all these things they want to scale. Co-founder is one of the co-founders of Ethereum. I mean, the founder. We have other blockchains coming up, layer 1 solutions like Solana, whatever. But that all plays into the same narrative. We have layer 1 solutions that are competing, but I think there's no one winner takes all. There's going to be room for other ecosystems with different other kinds of mechanisms that are running them, different governance philosophies that are running these different blockchains or these ecosystems that are going to develop in the future. So layer 1 solutions coupled with layer 2 solutions, we see Ethereum scalability being one of the things being fronted a lot recently. Bitcoin scalability, we see the layer 2 Lightning Network being tested in countries by individuals. Twitter recently, Jack Dorsey announced that Stripe, I think that's what it's called, Stripe, you're going to be able to send Bitcoin over the Lightning Network using any Lightning Network wallet to anyone using the application. I think it's Stripe. Yeah, I think that's it. So layer 2 solutions are interesting because they also incorporate something we call also synthetics and oracles, because it is synonymous with those two things, because we have synthetic assets, so bringing over traditional assets, bringing over derivatives, bringing over physical asset price feeds onto the blockchain. We have things like oracles, which also similarly are meant to optimize the whole idea of synthetic assets and using them on blockchain. Now, in my head, this all ties into scaling. This all ties into expanding the ecosystem. This all ties into blockchains like the Cosmos ecosystem. That's why initially I mentioned Polkadot and why I haven't messed around with Polkadot a lot. But I've looked at the Cosmos ecosystem. These people's philosophy is, let us build interoperability. And they built the different technologies like the Stargate, which optimizes their inter-blockchain communication protocol, which comes from Tendermint consensus algorithm, the ABCI. The combination of all those technologies makes Cosmos truly the juggernaut that it is. Now, all these things have to tie into each other. Interoperability, being able to communicate with one thing, being able to communicate with another thing. And that's why I focus a lot on things like Fetch.AI, which are building autonomous economic agents that are blockchain and language agnostic, that are digital assistants that can help to also optimize other features beyond just communication between machines or humans and machines, but also bringing in concepts like oracles, oracle-based systems that can optimize smart contracts, that can optimize the way we interact with the blockchain, DeFi, optimizing the whole process of the way we interact with DeFi, supply chains, and so many other things. But what I want to talk about today is, when you look at this article here, there is derivatives, decentralized exchange, DYDX beats out Coinbase's spot markets by volume amid China FUD. Now, the point here is not Coinbase. The point here is not DYDX. The point here is not China FUD. The point here is we having a nation of people that are flocking to a decentralized exchange, especially DYDX for some reason. It's one of the first DEXs on the Ethereum network, so it's an OG, respect, it's a trusted ecosystem. But also, we have to note that, okay, we can read this just for gives. According to CoinGecko, DYDX has facilitated more than $4.3 billion worth of trades in the past 24 hours, beating out Coinbase's. So this article is basically covering the fact that DYDX has beaten Coinbase's volume, and this is mainly attributed to Chinese people, amidst the Chinese crypto flood that's happening there, needing to still use exchanges. We've seen certain exchanges already stopping to allow new users onboarding them. I think it's Huobi. I think it's Huobi that is actually doing that. And here we can see one of the founder of DYDX, actually, Antonio. He's tweeting here: 5 years ago, I left Coinbase and eventually founded DYDX today for the first time. DYDX protocol is doing more trade volume than Coinbase. So the thing that I want us to note amidst all that's happening is that DYDX actually leverages a technology called Starkware. Starkware is something that was created by Starkware Industries. So Starkware creates scaling solutions. Starkware creates scaling solutions for blockchains. Our layer 2 scalability solutions are validity proof based and can be deployed as ZK rollup or Validium. Now, I've done like 2 videos about layer 2 scaling solutions. If you want more details about that, please check them out in the video. Actually, check the link in the description. I'll put it there to make it easy. Now, check this out here. When you try to log into here with your MetaMask wallet, you see here, welcome back. One or more of your keys needs to be recovered. So as you try to log into here, it asks you to recover these keys. Now we shall see what that means later on. And we shall see the importance of this video. Obviously, we've already covered interoperability, scaling, all that stuff. But at the same time, I'm not going to read this article in full here, but you can see that Starkware, Israeli blockchain startup Starkware, raises $75 million in Series B funding. And we have Pantera Capital. I think somewhere here they list some of the investors. Sequoia Founders Fund, Pantera, Wing, and so on. Alameda Research. And one of the people that has actually invested in this ecosystem is none other than Vitalik Buterin. It's stated somewhere here, but for some reason, obviously, I cannot see it. Okay. Investor in the companies is Vitalik Buterin, one of the co-founders of Ethereum, another notable investor, and the other investors here. So this is a pretty big deal. We have serious, respectable, notable people in the crypto community and outside of the crypto community taking note of this particular exchange, DYDX, or this technology, Starkware technology, which is being leveraged by DYDX, which is an exchange being, heavily used by the Chinese people currently. It's not Uniswap, it's DYDX. Now, this is Starkware's website. This is sort of a summarized roadmap that you see here. Starkware, to summarize, it's a technology that leverages ZK rollups or rollup technologies, just as we've seen here. But what's interesting with this roadmap here is that you can see on December 2020, there was Toolchain and Playground released. January 2021, Stacknate announced. March 2021, Series B funding, which we've just seen. And April 2021, we have live on the Ethereum network with DYDX. Okay, now April 2021 still, we have Immutable X live on the Ethereum network. This is the focus here. We have DYDX, we're progressively moving forward. You can see Immutable X. So you ask yourself, what is Immutable X? The first layer 2 for NFTs on Ethereum. Zero gas fees, instant trades, and scalability for games, applications, marketplaces without compromise. Now, when you go to their IMX token, IMX play to earn. So you can see here to earn, I think this round actually ended because when you open that, then it leads you to this article showing you instructions 16th of September 2021. This was the latest update, but there were earlier dates within you were supposed to participate. So the earlier adopters of the Immutable X exchange or the ecosystem had to participate in this play to earn model. There's a game called Gods Unchained it's been around in the NFT space. It's one of those games that's trying to, embed blockchain and play to earn model with NFTs that can be traded and whatnot, just like what happens in the metaverse, but in a video game. So the initial way of earning these tokens was to actually participate in this kind of model. And there were, I think there's going to be a maximum of 20 million tokens, IMX tokens, or yeah, immutable tokens, Immutable X tokens. And in these vesting periods, they're going to issue out these tokens for different users that have, adopted this platform earlier on. And we've seen many platforms actually do this. So it's an incentive. And given the fact that these tokens are also in limited supply, 20 million, it creates an interesting tokenomic structure. But, so that was one way of getting a hold of these tokens. These tokens I've tried to check around, they're not yet available. I guess they're still in that sort of ICO, should we call it ICO phase, because they're ERC20 tokens. And when you go to CoinMarketCap, I really hope they're the same types of tokens. I'm not showing it here because I'm not too sure, but it still says IMX co-founders here and there. And it shows that at the ICO price, these tokens traded for $15. But this is not the focus of this video. Those are just governance tokens. A brief pointer about the tokens. When you go to start building, there's a nice form that you can fill up if you're a platform out there when you start to launch, when you want to launch Immutable X, less than 3 months, 3 to 6 months. You can read up the details here. If you're a developer, if you're an ecosystem, you want to, use Immutable X and their technology, this is one way you can get to them. But then also the marketplace. Before we go any further into the details, welcome to the Immutable X, the first layer 2 for NFTs on the Ethereum network. You can see Gods Unchained here. They don't have a lot listed on their marketplace, but once you've onboarded this technology, once you want to use this technology to trade NFTs, these are some of the ecosystems that they've listed onto their platform as of now. This is a very, very new platform actually. It's very, very new. They haven't even launched their tokens yet. They're right after DYDX. So to me, it seems like the next best thing after even DYDX, at least as far as if we look at it in its own category of scaling and specifically focusing on NFTs. There's a video I did in the past where Ethereum was Ethereum. Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum, or co-founder of Ethereum, wrote an article about ZK rollups and how they can be used in the Ethereum network. Now, there's somewhere in the article where he stated that when Ethereum, even if Ethereum manages to go to Ethereum 2.0, I mentioned this in one of my old videos, it will use a sharding technology, but this sharding technology, as you can see here actually, when the first shard chains are shipped, they will just provide extra data to the next network. They won't handle transactions or smart contracts. Now, in that video, I always thought I made a wrong statement, but I was actually right. These sharded blockchains aren't really going to support transactions, but rather data. Now, the confusing thing is that even the technology, that ZK rollups technologies that these guys are fronting, the Immutable X exchange, other layer 2 scaling technologies like Plasma, as we're going to look at. If, for example, if you look at here, I think it's here. No, we're going to look at that later. Here they talk about Ethereum layer 1 scaling solutions like sharding, sidechains, Ethereum 2.0. Now, also layer 2 scaling solutions like Plasma rollups and optimistic rollups. But we know that these zero knowledge proofs rollups that are used by Immutable X also have a similar issue at the end. As you can see here, I think they stated it somewhere. The current disadvantage of ZK rollups is generally computation. This is because it's more challenging to port smart contract logic directly onto the rollup, meaning there's only one limited functionality available, e.g. transfers and trades. This challenge is rapidly being addressed. Now, we also have a solution on the Ethereum sharding network. In case Ethereum was to, move to sharding, we have a challenge where you cannot really support transactions on the sharded layers of the Ethereum network, which means you still need scalability, and also scalability may have its own issues. But let us go back to the point of this video. What is Immutable X? Immutable X is a next generation protocol for trading Ethereum NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which gives users instant trade confirmation, massive scalability, and no gas fees without compromising user custody. Our goal is to make minting and trading Ethereum NFTs even easier than trading traditional digital assets. So I could read this whole thing, it's actually quite short. How does Immutable X work? Immutable X uses ZK rollups, zero knowledge proof rollups. We take thousands of on-chain trades, generate a proof that these trades were all valid, i.e. the users who owned the assets signed the trades, and then publish the proof on-chain where it is verified by a smart contract. So during this process, the on-chain user assets, remember the problem we mentioned earlier, but forget about that for now. During this process, the on-chain user assets are held in smart contracts and can only be released after a valid proof including them has been published in a batch. So who is behind Immutable X? So we looked at Starkware in the start, and here we can see obviously Immutable and Starkware have partnered to create Immutable X, combining Starkware's world-class layer 2 scaling knowledge with Immutable's deep understanding of the NFT space. So we're dealing with two juggernauts. We're dealing with Starkware, which has garnered a lot of attention from Vitalik, from other VC investors, other VC capital investors, whatever, and it has chosen to partner with this platform called Immutable X. There's something there. So where are we building Immutable X? At the moment, trading on the Ethereum network is broken. The network currently supports 450,000 non-fungible token transactions per day at 30% network usage. Our plan is for Immutable X to support more than 200 million trades per day. Now, that's big talk, while consuming less than 30% of Ethereum's capacity. So trades fail on occasion. So they're talking about this, what is happening on Ethereum network, the scalability and, trades failing, transactions not going through sometimes. So they want to scale this NFT trading frenzy to 200 million trades per day. I think that's a huge increase. Now, this particular page, I've done videos talking about, the Ethereum Foundation, trying to explain some of these technologies that are being used as layer 2 scaling solutions on the Ethereum network. But here they sort of go through the layer 1 scaling solutions like sharding, using sidechains, and Ethereum 2.0 itself as well. Then also existing layer 2 solutions. Guys, layer 2 solutions is a very new space. It's a very complex space. Every time I try to understand it, every time I read about it, every time I do something about it, whenever I have to talk about it again, I have to do reading all over again, which I'm not going to do here. But we have Plasma, we have state channels, some of the solutions that are being used for that layer 2 scaling solutions. We have Plasma. Polygon network is also using that. We know Polygon is one of the chains that's very big, one of the first Ethereum scaling solutions, and they don't just focus on NFTs but on a wider array of things as well. Then we have rollups. Okay, we also have other platforms like Optimism that, anyways, there's others. I did a video about that, you can check it out. So there's rollups as another technology. There's optimistic rollups. Now, what's interesting here, optimistic rollups are optimistic because they assume that the proof provided for each transaction batch is valid. But they also list disadvantages of when you use rollups, disadvantages of when you use optimistic, rather shortcomings, should I say. So now they're focusing on zero-knowledge rollups. So zero-knowledge rollups, also known as ZK rollups, bundle or roll up hundreds of transactions off-chain, so they bundle them up, and generate a cryptographic proof known as a SNARK, or succinct non-interactive argument of knowledge, or a STARK, scalable transparent argument of knowledge. So ZK rollups use validity proofs rather than the fraud proofs described above. So those technologies use something called fraud proofs, using either SNARK or STARK and plenty of complex mathematics to prove their validity of the transactions in the rollup. So you have this rollup of transactions, which is eventually published back onto the mainnet after it's done with. So using validity proofs means that once a proof has been accepted on chain, users have immediate confirmation that those transactions were valid and are now immutable. So in an NFT context, this solves both the problems identified with optimistic rollups above. Users can withdraw immediately and no one is able to attack the system. In terms of scale, ZK rollups have been able to reach speeds of thousands of transactions per second and can even reach higher speeds, higher limits in the future. Now, some of the shortcomings of some of these networks like optimistic rollups and these others and Plasma is that things like Plasma can have up to 2 weeks waiting time if you want to port your assets back onto the mainnet. Then things like optimistic rollups can have up to 1 to 2 weeks as well when you want to move your assets back. So what zero knowledge rollups do is that they eliminate that waiting time and they solve some security issues. But of course we saw this disadvantage here. The current disadvantage is because it's more challenging to put smart contract logic directly onto the rollups. And that's why I also look into technologies like the Fetch.AI technologies like autonomous economic agents that can embed smart contract capabilities, because Fetch.AI is built on the Cosmos ecosystem, which has its own, smart contract ecosystem. Now, so the Fetch.AI people call that, when they leverage that technology, they refer to that as the metropolis, or the agent metropolis. So this is where you can actually program these agents with different smart contract capabilities. But we're focusing on Immutable X, Starkware, and Ethereum layer 2 scaling solutions right here. So, of course, here their solutions are unlimited scalability, instant transactions, basically taking away all that bottleneck within the Ethereum ecosystem, within Ethereum network. One of the last things I want to talk about, actually it's the last thing, There are three core components of the Immutable X stack. The ZK rollup, which we've looked at, scaling engine, so it's a scaling engine. We have links and the APIs. Now, remember what I talked about DYDX here, about the keys and the links? Now, this is where we want to look at here. And before we actually look into that, let's do a small demonstration here. So let me log out of my MetaMask here. Let me try to connect. Now, this is DYDX. It's not even Immutable X. So remember, these are technologies both being leveraged by Starkware. So I click my MetaMask, and you see what it's asking here. A valid Stark key for this wallet address was not found. Recover it using the button below. So you can recover the key, and MetaMask will open. You sign the transaction, and then you sign another transaction, and then you recover your API key, and you wait, and you sign your transaction again. Guys, in case you weren't seeing what I was doing with the MetaMask, that's a very good feature of the screen capture where it blocks your MetaMask. So now I've logged into this platform and I can leverage DYDX because it's also a platform that leverages scaling solutions. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of activity has been flocking here. Okay, back to Immutable X. This is where a lot of my attention was also grabbed. Apart from the side that there's, Starkware, Vitalik, all these VCs involved. And these guys and Starkware raised that series B funding, $75 million. So the technology, the ZK rollups. So they have the APIs, the APIs, application interfaces. So of course, you all know APIs. This is the way you interact. For example, if you have an organization with a website, they have a backend. Now the backend interact with the APIs on the website. This is how you have access to this backend knowledge. So one of the base technologies here is that they leverage APIs. So which allow you to interact with these NFTs as much as you want, trade within there, transfer them, do this. But when you want to transfer this data back onto the mainnet, that's where, it changes from these APIs onto this other more complex technology. Now, let's read ZK rollups one more time here because the wording is a bit different. So Immutable X combines NFT-specific exchange and proof logic with the cutting-edge rollup technology developed by Starkware to create one of the most advanced tools for trading NFTs ever built. So rollups allow the world-class scalability and user experience while retaining the underlying security of Ethereum. So ZK Snarks, the reason why they're saying that is that one of the other technologies, like maybe ZK rollups or Plasma, I don't remember properly which one. Those technologies, they may not necessarily leverage Ethereum's security, but rather their own security, which can cause very serious problems as you go down the road. So ZK Stocks, zero knowledge, scalable, transparent argument of knowledge are a type of cryptographic proof technology that enables users to share validated data or perform computations with a third party without the data or computation being revealed to the third party, also known as zero knowledge proof, in a way that is publicly verifiable. Of course, we know Monero is one of the technologies that really fronted this. I think there was also Zcash, but Monero, I think, was also leveraging ZK, this zero knowledge proof technology. Anyways, so prior to the creation of ZK Stocks, ZK Snarks were used to create ZK proof systems, but required a trusted party or parties to initially set up the ZK proof system, which introduced the vulnerability of those trusted parties, compromising the privacy of the entire system. So ZK Stocks improve upon this technology by removing the need for a trusted setup. So the ZK rollup requires an operator. So the operator is responsible for linearizing transactions. Linearizing transactions means putting them into a consistent global incremental order with no gaps. In this instance, Immutable X is the operator. A state transition is when a user sends a transaction to Immutable X, which Immutable X linearizes. That is, we put it into a big long sequence to then perform the batching and proofing. So state transitions can be of any kind that is valid. However, there must be an operator who orders these state transitions. So valid state transitions include, we have trades, transfers, minting tokens, depositing, withdrawals. So this part here kind of explains those two fundamental things, the APIs and the ZK technology, which allows you, the APIs, remember, the Immutable X API wrap the logic of the Immutable X exchange engine. So the developers do not need to interact directly with smart contracts via custom logic to build on the Immutable X platform. You know that that constant interaction with the smart contract can create bottlenecks. It can create, it can log up the network, and it can lead to constantly having to pay fees to perform these various interactions. So if you don't have to do that, then guys, if I'm choking up a lot, this this technology is quite complex, and I'm trying to explain it in the best way I can understand it as I'm doing this video. So that's pretty much the premise of the APIs. You're not going to interact with the smart contracts or the blockchain directly. If you want to do that, that's when you deploy these other technologies like ZK rollups, which eventually allow you to port. And then they have the link here, which is the final thing. The link is the conduit that we use to connect users to the Immutable X protocol. So this allows Immutable X to support a thriving third-party marketplace ecosystem without presenting a security risk. So unlike other blockchains or sidechains, Immutable X currently supports all desktop Ethereum wallets without forcing the user to switch networks. However, all new Immutable X users are required to set up a layer 2 wallet via link, which will register and associate the layer 1 wallet public key under a newly generated stock key. Now, I'm not going to continue reading this very technical jargon, but in short, what I did at first with the DYDX exchange, this is basically what they're saying here. And these are the 3 fundamental technologies that they're trying to use in order to create a scalable ecosystem for NFTs and also for the Ethereum network, and hopefully other ecosystems at large as they expand. So I found Immutable X quite interesting. I find that it really we're trying to push the trend that I'm trying to see right now. The trend that I'm seeing is that we're pushing towards interoperability. We're pushing towards creating a connection of these different blockchains, because this technology is open source, which means a lot of people are going to create different solutions, different properly functional solutions for whatever use cases they have, and making these use cases have the ability to talk to each other. I think that's very important, and I think it's very important to kind of look at these technologies that are forming in the background whilst in the quiet. You can see December they started. It's a very simple roadmap, but then they moved on to DYDX, which is one of the most known prevalent decentralized exchanges on the Ethereum network, and now it's Immutable X. So let's keep an eye out on Immutable X. I think this is something interesting that's brewing here. Alright guys, that's all I wanted to talk about in this video today. I really hope you learned something amidst my mumbling in there and confusion. I really hope you learned something, because that's the idea of this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.